Alright boys, I got an issue. Okay? I have this commander, Rigo Streetwise Mentor. Now, I'm gonna go through his abilities. He is a 3-mana commander. He is technically banned, so he is green, white, blue. But you can cast him for white, white, white. Or any combination of, I guess. He is a cat citizen. He is a 2/2. He enters the battlefield with a shield counter, so if he will be dealt damage or destroyed, I can remove a shield counter from him instead, and he's all good to go. Now, he also has the ability, whenever you attack a player or planeswalker with 1 or more creatures with power 1 or less, draw a card. I think it's my understanding the way this is worded is I am able to swing at, say in a 4-player game, I'm able to swing at my 3 opponents with 1 creature of 1 power each, and I would draw 3 cards. I think that's the way it's worded. I'm probably going to need clarification just to make sure I'm not going crazy. But whenever you attack a player or planeswalker with 1 or more creatures with power 1 or less. Yeah, so the restriction here is on the number of creatures attacking a single player, not the number of creatures attacking multiple players, if that makes sense. So, I saw this commander and I was like, huh, that's pretty interesting. Like power 1 or less. Wait, aren't there other creatures that care about power 1 or less? Oh yeah, there is. So we've got Tetsuo Umezawa, Fugitive. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. So I saw that and I was like, huh, that's a neat combo. You can just make a bunch of tokens. You have Rigo, whenever you attack your only opponents, you draw a card. And then Tetsuo gives them all unblockable. That's pretty cool. Then I guess the icing on the cake, or the strawberry on top, was Finn, the Fangbearer. I saw this and I was like, huh, that's pretty cool. Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Oh, and guess what? He's a 1/3. So, this is the premise of the deck. We've got Rigo, we've got Finn, and we've got Tetsuo. Those are sort of like the 3 pillars of this deck. So what I've done is I have basically compiled a list of every card that I think would be pretty cool in this deck. And I'm gonna start culling. That's the video today. I'm gonna start culling to try and fix this deck. So I think I sort of want to go in the token direction and have a minor Death Touch theme as well, which might be pretty cool because it's really neat to have a blocker that's just a 1/1 that with Death Touch. Because no one's gonna swing at you if you just have a 1/1 Death Touch blocker. They're not gonna risk it. So that's what I want to try and do. Let's see if that works out. I think I'm going to go through the creatures first. So I've got 65 of them, so I need to cut them down. Okay, Adeline. His power is equal to the number of her power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking. Rigo checks when the creatures attack, and Adeline checks when the creatures attack as well. So I don't think the human creature tokens I create are going to be in combat when I attack. But it does help for the token theme. So of me creating tokens to fight my opponents. So this is a maybe. Adeline is on the maybe board. Archaeomancer, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. I think I'm going to cut this. I don't think there's that many instants or sorceries that I could get. So I think I'm going to cut it. Aven Windguide, creature tokens you control have flying and vigilance. I think I'm going to keep that. Avenger Zendikar, just good. Create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each land I control. I play a land, I have like 7 1/2s. It's fantastic. Whenever 1 or more creatures with base power toughness 1/1 enter the battlefield under your control, get a 1/1 counter. Whenever he attacks, everything else with a base power toughness 1/1 gets XX, where X is the number of counters on it. Okay, that's good, that's staying. Blighted Agent, I think, is a 50-50. It is unblockable and it is a 1/1, so I think that's its main selling point. Cephalid Face Taker, you can have it become a copy of another target creature, except it's a 1/4 and it can't be blocked. I think just having unblockable on the creature itself is just good. Champion of Lambholt needs to stay. Charix is really funny, so I think that's going to stay. It's just a 0/17 that I can swing at an opponent and then pump mana into it to like up its attack. Cloud of Fairies can go, just untapping 2 lands. I don't think I'm in the combo sort of sphere. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can tap or untap target permanent. Could be very interesting, considering I'm going wide with a token strat. I think I think that's gonna stay. Edric, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may draw a card. I think that's good. I'm drawing a card on attacks, and then when it deals 1 damage, I draw another card, so 2 cards is pretty good. Spells your opponent's cast to target one of your more of your commanders you control cost 3 more to cast. I think I'm gonna cut this. It is a 2-mana flyer that draws a card on attack. Oh my god, it's so good that everything draws cards when it attacks. Spells your opponent's cast to target one or more commanders you control cost 3 more. I think that's fine to remove because Rigo has a shield counter. So I think I'm going to remove this dude. Fang of Shigeki is a 1/1 death touch. Keep. Finn, keep. Gala Greeters. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. I create a tap treasure, gain a life. I think that's staying. It's a 1/1, plus it helps with the token strat. Ghostly Pilferer. Whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than the hand, draw a card. I think I'm good. He can go. Grazilax. Keep. Hope of Girapur. Maybe. It's a 1-mana flying 1/1 that has an ability that when it attacks, I draw a card with Rigo. So, that's pretty good. Drael. It's a 2-mana 1/2. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat. So, I play it, I attack, I draw an extra card, I create a 2/2. That's everything my deck wants to do. That's staying in. Karametra's Acolyte. There are so many good 1-power cards that just do other stuff. It's too good. Equal to your Devotion to green. I might come back to this. Let me see what my Devotion looks like. It's not... Karametra's Acolyte is a maybe. I don't know how much Devotion I've actually got. Okay, Landware Elves. Yes, for now. Looter, Ilkor, Shadow. Whenever it deals damage to an opponent, draw a card, then discard a card. It's got Shadow, so it's unblockable. Yeah, why not? Mentor of the Meek, that's staying. Min Wily Illusionists. So, I attack, I get a 1/1. I attack again, I have 2 2/1s. I attack again, I have 3 3/1s. Yeah, okay. That's not bad. And when it dies, I can just keep putting in permanents for free. That's not bad. Moss Viper is a 1/1 death touch. See, I feel like having a 1/1 death touch is sort of similar to having a 1/1 unblockable. At least in regards to it when you attack. Because nobody wants to block a 1/1 death toucher. Like, it's just not worth it. In terms of attacking, both of them draw a card when they attack, so that's good. But they're sort of both are the same when they attack. On defense, the Moss Viper is better because it has a death touch. Wonvuli Beast Tracker. When it ETBs, search a library for a creature card with death touch, hexproof, reach, or trample, reveal it, put it on top. I think this is going to go. It was only in here so I could search for Finn, but I think this is going to go. Protean Hulk, I think, is a must-have. When it dies, search a library for any number of creature cards with total CMC 6 or less, put them on the field, then shuffle. Basically, I can go get Finn, I can go get 4 death touches as blockers. That's got to stay. Psychosis Crawler, that's fantastic, that's part of the strategy. Rumor Gatherer. When another creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card instead. I don't know, I don't think so. I don't think it's good enough. I mean, yes, I am creating a lot of tokens. I will cover that in a sec. But it's like, I'm already going to be drawing a lot of cards. Is the scry and the extra draw that important? I don't think it is. Scoot Swarm is great because it creates 1/1s. Sadar Kondo of Jamura. Flanking. Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. So, basically gives all my tiny creatures unblockable. Triska Decaphile, I have no maximum hand size. If I have exactly 13 cards in my hand at the beginning of my upkeep, I win the game. Tristani Selesnia's Voice. Whenever another creature ETBs under my control, I gain life because of that creature's toughness. Okay. Look, we cut it down quite a bit, but we're still at 46 creatures. How many tokens do we create? Oh my god. There's so much stuff that just works with this deck. And I'm sort of surprised. Okay, let's take a look at the rest. Let's see what we can find. Abiding Grace. Return target creature card from Great. Yeah, Abiding Grace is a yes. Battle for Broderguard can double. my creature tokens. I feel like it's good enough to stay. Beastmaster Ascension is a yes. Coastal Piracy, whenever a creature I control deals combat damage to opponent, you can draw a card. Coastal Piracy is a maybe. If I'm already attacking and drawing cards, do I really want to draw double the number of cards? Like, there's going to be a point where I'm drawing too many cards, right? I assume all the blue players watching like, no. Heritage, target attacking creature, double strike, yes. Endless Evil, beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except the token is 1/1. Basically gets me a 1/1 every single turn of whatever creature I want. From Beyond, beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield. It has sack this creature, add 1 to your mana pool. Yes, it makes me a 1/1 every single turn. That then can attack and sack for mana. Legion's Landing, create a 1/1 whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, transform it, and it makes me vampires. No. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. So that's not bad. I'm already going to be attacking with a lot of tokens, so yeah, that's fine. Ominous Seas, whenever you draw a card, put a Foreshadow counter, remove 8, create an 8/8. Yep, I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards anyway. Promise of Bunray. Whenever a creature you control dies, sacrifice it. If you do, create 4 1/1 spirit creatures. No. Rabble Rousing. Hideaway 5. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you can play the exile card without paying its mana cost. Yes. Reconnaissance Mission. Whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. Isn't that just Coastal Piracy? But with cycling? To an opponent, you can draw a card. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. That's a weird distinction. Okay, so how about we keep Reconnaissance Mission, because that has cycling, but we get rid of Coastal Piracy. It does cost more money as well. If you draw a card, except for the first one you draw in each of your draw steps, you draw 2 cards instead. Okay, so this is going to turn me drawing, say, 3 cards in a 4-player match to drawing 6 cards. I think this is a no, but hear me out. So it's all about threat levels, right? And if my opponents are seeing me draw 3 cards for swinging with a 1/1, they're like, okay, that's bad, but they're just 1/1s. Like, it can't be that bad. And he's only drawn 3 cards. But if they see me attack with 3 1/1s, and I draw 6 cards, then I then become the threat. Because 6 cards is too many, but I think the 3 cards is fine. I hope that makes sense. Reconnaissance Mission is, I guess, sort of the same, but the creature does need to deal combat damage for it to trigger. So I think Teferi's Ageless Insight is a no. Overrun's a 50-50 because I need to do it at sorcery speed. Just chuck on the maybe board. Because I need to do it at sorcery speed, I don't get the draw triggers. I can't buff my creatures after blocks. I don't know. It's a maybe. Overwhelming Stampede. Basically just overrun. Overwhelming Stampede is a 50-50 because it does it before attacks. But if I have like a lot of creatures, then maybe it'll go in. Return up to 3 target creature cards with total mana values 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Look, I have quite a few 1/1s, 1 CMC creatures. I have quite a few 2 CMC creatures. I have 3s up the wazoo, so that should still work. Plain-wide Celebration, choose 4. No. Stolen Identity, create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature with Cypher. That's not what I'm doing actually, so let's get rid of that. Akroma's Memorial, creatures you control the Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, and Pro Black and Red. Yes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this in. Yeah, because there is a difference between on attacks I draw 6 cards, or on attacks I draw 3 cards, and on damage I draw 3 cards. Because then the opponent has the choice to block. I think that's the difference, and that should be easier to like allow people the chance, and it won't raise my threat levels that high. Bow of Nylea, attacking creatures you control like Death Touch, works great with Finn. Halo Fountain, basically pay 5, untap 15 tapped creatures, I win the game. So, that's good. Kefnet's Monument, blue creature spells you cast cost 1 less. Whenever you cast a creature spell, tap creature, and opponent controls doesn't untapped. I think that's a no. I don't have enough blue creatures in here. When you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1. I think that's what it's there for. Create a 1/1 whenever I cast a creature spell. That's just good. Skull Clamp, that's great in a 1/1 deck. Strixhaven Stadium needs to stay in. Swiftfoot Boots, Hexproof and Haste, that's just a worse Lightning Greaves, but Lightning Greaves cost too much. Throne of the Godfarrow, that's sort of a win condition. Trepanation Blade, whenever it attacks, defending player reveals cards on the top of their library until they reveal a land. The creature gets 1/0 for each turn, until the end of turn, for each card revealed this way. No. Let's do instance. Access denied, counter target spell, create X 1/1 Thopters, where X is that spell's mana value. No. Aura Mutation, destroy target enchantment, create X 1/1 Saplings, where 1 X is that enchantment's mana value. That's good. That's 3 less CMC, and I might hit. Like, I can pay 2 mana, destroy a 3 mana enchantment, create 3 1/1s. That's good. Biomass Mutation. This was what I was talking about earlier with the difference between this and Overrun. Because playing this after blocks would be pretty good. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until the end of the turn. I can just dump everything into this. And my creatures are now like 10/10s. So that's good. Call the Copper Coats. Choose any number of target opponents. Create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. It relies on my opponents, but it does ramp me up to where they are in the game. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say maybe. Create X 1/1 birds, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Yes. Grove Spiral. Yep. Lazartep Plating. I amass 1. You and permanents you control gain hexproof. No. March of the Multitudes. Create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink and convoke. Yes. Poison the Blade. Target creature gains death touch until the end of turn. Draw a card. No. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Very good. Secure the ways, put X 1/1 white warriors onto the field. Okay, let's see what it looks like now. I think I've cut down a lot. I'm down to 88 cards. I really need to cull these creatures, man. 88 cards. So in a deck with 36 lands, I would need 64 of those to be other cards. But then I assume there's going to be like artifacts and ramp I need to add in. So let's assume like another 10 of those. So 56 cards I need to cut this down to. Roughly. So I will need to cull 32 more cards somehow. Okay, I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to come back. I'm going to look at this. And I'm going to come back when I'm ready to fix this. Because I have no idea how to cull this down. Alright, it's now a week later. I have been working on this for quite a few days now because I wanted to try and cut as many creatures out as possible. What I have gone is sort of the token route as opposed to getting the 1/1 route. And sort of gone for a few neat tricks and I guess good interactions as opposed to just having really cool 1/1s that draw a card and can block and stuff like that. So I've removed basically all of the death touches. The 1/1 death touch blockers and the 1/1 unblockables because I guess they just need more. They just needed more from me. So what we've got is Arasta, we've got Aven Windguide, Avenger of Zendikar. All of these are pretty straightforward. Neat ones, I do want to just highlight a Cephalid Face Taker, so it can't be blocked and then it becomes a copy of another creature on the field until the end of turn, except it's a 1/4 and still is unblockable. Derevi Finn. Finn is still staying in the deck even though I have removed basically all of the death touches. He is staying in because he works very well with Bow of Nylea. Attacking creatures I control have death touch, which is just really, really funny. Grazilax, Jaheira, Jurael, Judge's Familiar, Landwire Elves, Mentor the Meek, pretty straightforward stuff. I've got a Midnight Guard in here. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, untap him with Presence of Gond, and I can enchant a creature as tap, create a 1/1 green elf. So I've sort of gone the token route and creating as many tokens as possible. You may be seeing here not a lot of interaction because what I have done or what I'm trying to do with this deck is have basically no interaction, okay? All I want to do is just further my game plan no matter what. So that's all I'm going to do is focus on creating tokens and just swinging. There is basically no interaction. There's nothing I can do to stop a creature or stop someone else winning the game. All I do is create tokens and swing. And to me, I think that could be pretty interesting. Because I always try and put in like a few counter spells, a few removal spells, all like in every single one of my decks. And I just didn't want it to be like all of the samey feeling, I guess. Because if you put all the same kind of removal in every single deck, then it's just all going to blend into one. And I guess you're just playing the same deck with different colors, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but it sort of does in my head. Strixhaven Stadium is a real threat in this deck. Because whenever a creature I control deals combat damage to opponent, put a point counter, then if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all, and that player loses the game. So if I swing with more than 10... Like, this can add up pretty quickly in a token deck, I feel like. One thing I do want to mention is my evasion. I feel like I am struggling in the evasion department, so I may need to look at that later. But I feel like what I'm going to do to try and get through the evasion is just say, oh, it's just a 1/1. It's just a flying 1/1. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. This deck does draw a lot of cards and it does swarm pretty quickly, I feel like. So it could be pretty interesting, and I'll definitely provide an update in maybe the next Commander deck I make on how this deck has actually performed. But I feel like it's going to do pretty well. I mean, all it does is just create tokens. It creates tokens, it swings with tokens. It just looks like fun to me. It just looks like fun. So I hope you've enjoyed me trying to like make sense of what this deck is going to be. There's still... I feel like this is a step in the right direction. I am 80 to 90% of the way there. I just need to figure out that last 10%. Just to try and figure out how I'm going to get all my creatures around the blockers. Oh, also Protean Hulk is just really funny in this deck because it can grab basically every single creature in the deck. And multiples, if that. So that's really funny to have a Protean Hulk. I really feel like Chihiro should be worth so much more. Like... $1.44 for a tokens you control have tap add green? I feel like that's insane. But people just don't agree, apparently. I don't know. Is she an elf? Human elf druid, of course she's an elf. God damn it. So, that is my Rigo Streetwise Mentor deck. The deck is public now, it was private before. But if you want to go check it out, and I guess check out all my other Commander decks, I'm going to leave a link in the description to this deck. So make sure you go check it out. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace. Also, why are you fighting this battle? You have like a really bad position. You need to like not be here. Like, why did you fight that? Or at least like not seek higher ground. Come on, man. Yeah, that